Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Donnie, and for today, we are going to show you how you can use Excel's pivot tables to create a balance sheet. So a balance sheet is a financial document, an instrument wherein it identifies the assets from the equities and liabilities, and whether those assets and the equities and liabilities are balanced or of the same amount. So it's a precursor to other financial documents like the income statement, and it's another important tool in reporting your financials. So in this case, we're going to use pivot tables to show you how easy it is to create one as long as your data is formatted in such a way that it's in a pivot table friendly format. And when I say that, it means that your data is columnar and you have the required fields to make this happen. So in this case, we have the transaction date, technically not needed in this report for now. We have transaction ID, we have an account code, and then we have the account name, which is important in this one. So your data should have the account name. And other important columns should be the section wherein it identifies whether your data or your account or your entry is an asset, equity, or liabilities. This one, of course, you have to manually identify, or if you download data from the system, then this should be identified already. But if not, then you have to somehow find a way to logically put that there or manually do it yourself. And then we now have the subsection, which is another aspect wherein you identify whether an asset is a current asset or a non-current asset and other things that you want to put as the subsection of your balance sheet. And then you also want the debit and credit column in separate columns. If your data is not arranged this way, then you may want to make sure that it's arranged this way by using logic or maybe by manually doing it yourself. So it really depends whether how that entry is a debit or credit. If you are familiar with bookkeeping, you should know how to do this and why it's not that easy to automate such thing, because of course it depends on the situation. And then we have the balance sheet amount, which is one of the important aspects of this report. So the balance sheet amount is technically the difference of the debit and the credit. So if you are familiar with accounting principles, then this should be something that you already know. So for example, if it is a debit account like an asset and it's in the debit column, then it should be just debit minus credit. So in this case, 150 minus 0 is 150,000. But of course, it's not always the case. Like in this scenario, we have an asset, which is this one, which is an asset supposedly in the normal balance, but we can see that it is entered as a credit account. Therefore, it's going to be a negative number because it's since this is a debit account or debit balance, then it should say 0 minus the credit, which will make this a negative number. So there are rules about this, and this video is not really all about that. If you need more help on that, maybe we can do a video for that later. But for now, we already have a column that already identifies the balance sheet amount of this data. And then we have some remarks, which technically is useless in this report. So for now, we are ready with our pivot table. We've shown you how your data should look like when you want to use pivot tables to create the balance sheet. So to start the pivot table, you simply have to click any one cell within the range of cells of your table. You can, of course, highlight the entirety of the table, but it don't really need that. For now, I just have to click any one cell, not outside like this. Make sure to go inside, and then you go to insert. And then on the leftmost part of insert, you should see there pivot table. Okay, just click that. And you are now being asked whether you want to identify a new worksheet or an existing worksheet. So preferably, I go with new worksheet because I want my data to start another sheet and not clutter an existing sheet like what this one is requiring me to do. So in this case, I'll go for new worksheet. I will then double check whether I got the correct table. In my case, this table is already named balance sheet data table. If your data is not yet in a table format, then this should say A1 to J61 or whatever the ending of your data is. So mine is like this because this is already a table form. If your data is not table form, this should be a range of cells. And then another one to make sure that does not happen is this one should be not checked. So add this to the data model. You only use this if you're going to use Power Pivot in your reporting. In this case, we're not really going to do that. This is just regular data. And then click OK. So now we have our blank pivot table with the pivot table fields on the right side. Okay, so in this case, I'm now ready to create my balance sheet. So the first section of my balance sheet would be the statement section. So I have it over here. There are several ways to bring the statement section into the pivot table. You can simply check the checkbox beside it. And since the statement section is a column containing texts, then pivot table will automatically send it to the rows area of the report. But just in case, you can also use the drag technique, wherein instead of clicking the checkbox, you put control over where it should go by dragging the name of the field into the area where you want it to go. So in this case, I want it to go to the rows area, and now I have the data arranged in the rows. Take note that if you made a mistake, let's say that you dragged it incorrectly in an area, you can simply drag that field to the correct area. Or if you made a totally wrong move and you drag the wrong column, the wrong field, you can simply click here and remove the field or just drag it out into the sheet and it should go away. So again, let me bring that into our report, specifically in the rows area. And then next is the subsection. So this one over here, same thing. I can use the check and uncheck technique, but for now, I'm just going to use the drag technique. I personally prefer dragging because this one puts control as to where the data should go. So I'm going to bring it here right below the statement section. So now we're getting the section and the subsection of my balance sheet. And then the next one that I'm going to put here in the report is the account name. So just like this previous two, I'm going to drag the account name into the rows area. And it's starting to look like a balance sheet. And just in case, by the way, that you made a mistake and it did not go to the correct arrangement or order, you can simply drag the fields into their correct position, like what I'm doing now. So, okay, so this one's already correct. And then I'm going to bring in my balance sheet amount, okay, into the report. So the balance sheet amount, I'm going to drag here in the values. And now I have the balance sheet amount in the pivot table. And I could actually see here, okay, that I have the assets as 692,000. And I have the equity as 446 and the liabilities as 246. As you can see below here on the right side, you could see that the sum of those two numbers is 692,000, which means that my assets and my liabilities and equities are balanced or the same. So it's a sound report. But the next part of this balance sheet is, in most cases, you have to show that when you add the equities and the liabilities, oops, I accidentally double click that. You just have to go back to the sheet. You want to show that when you add the equities and liabilities, it should sum with similarly with the assets. So to do that in a pivot table, you simply have to highlight the two fields that you want, like that. You want to get the equity, drag all the way to liabilities. You don't really need to drag everything because all you're really after is the equities and liabilities to be added. The other fields here gets, or other items, it gets included in the highlighting, but no worries because we highlighted this level or this section. These two are the ones that will be added. So then we right click on equities and liabilities highlighted, and then we create a group for them. So we have to group them together. So group, and as you could see, we now have created a group wherein both equities and liabilities are grouped together. And this technique automatically sums the area or the groups that we just combined together. This will also subsequently create another group here because, of course, if you have a higher group one, then the other group should also have one. So in this case, I already have identified this one, but it's right above. And in a typical balance sheet, this one should be below the equities and liabilities. So to do that, I have to change the position of the subtotal. So this is technically a subtotal compared to the grand total. So I'm going to click that, group one. I am going to go to the design tab of my pivot table, and I'm going to go to the subtotals button over here and identify that I want to show all the subtotals at the bottom of the group. This will send all subtotals below their groups. So as you could see, even the others like the equity now goes below, the liabilities go here. Unlike when we had it a while ago, like this, I undid it. The equity total is over here above its group. So in this case, I'm going to choose design, subtotal, and make the subtotals go to the bottom of the group so they become subtotals. And then in this case, I'm going to name this one, this group 1 total, as equity plus liability to signify what it explains. So you can just hover your mouse, click the cell, and just type what you want it to be. So now we have the equity and liability over here. And just in case you get some accidental creations like this one being on top, so you can simply remove them by hiding them. Or another technique is to just make them white, right? Because you don't want redundant information in your pivot table, like this one as well. It's totally up to you which one you want, what technique you want to do. But if this is something that you don't want to see in the report, so then you can simply change them to white or just hide them, okay, and whatever technique you want. So same here, you can also just change this to a white font so that it doesn't show a redundancy with this one over here. And with that, just a final step, if you need some correct lines, like you want double lines and things like that, you can simply do that as usual by highlighting the cells that you want to get the double line, go to home, and you should see here wherein you can assign lines, okay, below or above the cells. So it's totally up to you how you want. Okay, there may be special rules about that, but that is not what this video is all about. So I hope with this video, we help you how you can convert your journal entries into a pivot table that shows you the balance sheet. And I hope you realize how important it is that your data is really neat, is really arranged properly in order to really utilize Excel's features to make your lives easy in creating balance sheet. For now, I hope this video helped you. And if it did, then we would really appreciate a like and subscribe in the channel. It really helps us beat the algorithm and be inspired in creating more videos for you. If you have any questions, feel free to use the comment section. If you have any comments, remarks, did I do anything wrong? I'm not an accountant myself, but if you have any suggestions or comments, then feel free to use the comment section and we'll be very happy to answer your question. But for now, that's it. Thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one.